right, welcome back. We are ready and set for our next match at Youmacon 2014 StarCraft 2. We have a great match on deck for you. It is Spyderslayer versus Perseus, an epic ZVT coming your way.
Yep.
Spyderslayer, a guy that, all bias aside, I'm very biased towards. But it is going to be he's definitely frequents pretty much all of the tournaments in this Midwesty type region area, even some over towards Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio.
He travels around for sure.
He makes his round. He's a pretty serious player, been practicing a lot. Perseus, we saw a match earlier. He is serious as well.
Yeah.
He has been to a lot of these. I think his other name he's gone by is Terran LOL or something like that, I've heard. He was here last year as well, so expect this to be a pretty epic match we'll have coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if Perseus is able to pull it out, because earlier he wasn't seeming very confident in his ability to win against Spyderslayer. He had stated that he was going to lose this match, but obviously you don't go into a match believing that you're going to lose. And
there.
All right. So he's going to try to win, obviously. So we'll see if he's able to pull it out, or if Spyderslayer is going to fulfill his opponent's prophecy and take the match.
And here we go. The lobby is loading. We're counting down from 5, 6, 4, 3 numbers.
2, 1?
Yeah.
All right.
It is going to be on King Sejong Station, a map that we've seen relatively frequently, actually. And when this letter pool came out, it seems like King Sejong Station actually got downvoted a little bit, but has become a little bit more popular as time has gone on.
Yeah, it seems like a fairly standard
kind of figured out the meta. Yeah. Seems like when it first came out, too, we saw a lot more of the proxy type play, because on the backside of the natural, there's a little bit harder to get to and easy to fly things in, like factories and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this an interesting map. Like it's common to see that type of play on that map. I need to stop making arm motions. I just completely kill our camera every time I do.
What you see is you go to the left side of the thing, and while the map loads, and it doesn't matter because we're going to be in... I might have jumped the gun a little bit on that one. It was at 100%, and I thought it was just going to go. Go. All right, so jumping into the game here. In the upper left-hand corner, we have the orange Terran. His name is Perseus.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, in the cyan carapace, it is Spyderslayer. So a little bit of friendly banter and threats happening between the two players.
All your base are belong to me. Well, this is going to be a good one, folks. Definitely two pretty good players here, as Perseus had a good match earlier. I can't remember the name of who he played now, but it was, honestly, all the matches we've had on stream today have been fairly close, longer, extended, more macro-y type games, nothing too super short, which is good. It's always good to not have complete walkovers, although it does happen.
Perseus referring to the fact that he's wearing a toga.
Yeah, he is dressed up today. I see him over my left shoulder grinning and smiling. Lots of people watching over the back of these players here. This is a live event, which is pretty cool. Lots of spectation. We've got spectation. Is that a word, or is that a word we just made up again?
I mean, the English language owes us a debt with the number of words that we make up.
Yeah.
Spyderslayer attempting to prevent the putting down of the barracks, but it was a little bit misplaced on that drone, so did not get that.
Spyderslayer does like a lot of his little micro-y tricks, something he definitely practices a lot. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and let that barracks go down now. He's probably going to be waiting for his expansions here. I was about to say he's probably going to be waiting for a natural expansion, then I saw he put it down already. So that's always good. This pool going to be coming here shortly as soon as 200 minerals is achieved and achievement unlocked, and comes that spawning pool. APM to the max. Here's both players having a nice conversation with each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that they have good rapport with one another, and that they're having a good time with the game, and that's what you're here to do. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win money, but they're having fun too. Yeah.
Honestly, before the game, I was talking to Spyderslayer, and he said that Perseus is a player that he's been looking forward to playing. Last year, I guess he didn't get to play him really, but so that's always good to have a match that you'd like to come up to and have it work out that way in the bracket.
Absolutely.
Fix our score up here. 0-0 in this best of 3. For those of you that are just tuning in, we are at Youmacon, Detroit 2014 at the Renaissance Center. And we are running some StarCraft 2 here, and it's been a pretty good event so far. There's lots of people all around. If you haven't been seeing, the crowd came in between games. Lots of cosplay and cool things going on here. It's a pretty cool place to be. Lots of games. If you like gaming, it's definitely a place you want to be.
It certainly is. I mean, we've got all sorts of consoles. There's PCs set up with different games. There's a tabletop gaming in the room adjacent to us, so all sorts of neat stuff. In addition to the con, which is, you know, an anime con. So there's all sorts of panels and all sorts of neat folks here to talk to. There's usually a lot of voice actors and things like that to discuss the various shows and video games with, so definitely a cool crowd.
This looks like a in-base command center going down here for Perseus. He did make a factory, but hasn't really produced anything out of it yet. He's still kind of scouting around with his Reaper here, poked into Spyderslayer's main base a little bit. Queen did shove it away. It's definitely, you know, the Reapers aren't as useful as getting much damage done in, oh, wow. Wow, I did not even notice that there. That little ramp there for the Reaper to get up. They're useful for scouting, but not really going to get much damage done in a TVZ because those Queens so good.
Sorry about that. There's 4 Zerglings that denied the tech lab off the factory, and now they're just walking right on in and able to do some damage. So that's a little bit of a faux pas there from Perseus.
Oh, looks like he did target down one of those SCVs and got it. 2 Marines are on the job now. Looks like they're going to try and, no, it did focus down another one. The Marines still hot on their trail as they're not going to get much farther. They're going to try and do a little bit more damage with SCVs, but does not get it. Second Reaper does end up staying towards the main base here, and the SCV getting everything all patched up front so that no more of those silly Zerglings are going to get in.
Yeah, but there is now a hole once again in that wall.
Yeah, that's definitely not a wall there, but either way, it's like more roaches now going to be on the map. Spyderslayer definitely a player that likes his roaches and he likes his mutilisks.
Yeah, he likes to play aggressively, that's for sure. That's kind of his signature style. So the roaches are kind of heading their way across the map, do run into that Hellion, and that is going to get taken out on their march towards that front wall there.
This is looking like it's going to be a little bit difficult for Perseus here. He does have a tank that's about 1/3 of the way done, but these roaches are just going to be able to walk right up here, it looks like. And
they are going to take a few shots from that bunker, though, if they try and just stream through, but it looks like they're going to try and take down the supply depot.
And that's going to be so much supply loss because that's got a call down on top of it.
Ooh.
Now Roach is going to go right up, and they're just going to walk right on past that bunker and try to put down a barracks, but it doesn't work. So this is going to be real big trouble here for Perseus. Tank does come out.
It does indeed, and he's got to figure out the best place for him to siege that up. He does have a pretty good spot there, and but those roaches are just going to smartly try and stay out of the way, going to take down this refinery, and he's going to be forced to move that siege tank. So Spyderslayer just microing very well, trying to maximize his efficiency with these roaches.
Yeah, I mean, he knows at this point he's not getting out of this base alive, so he's just going to try and do as much damage as he can. Tank not realizing that's the best way to do damage, as that splash damage with those roaches in the mineral line would be terrible.
Yeah, you would take more damage than you deal. So another roach coming in from the other side, and geez, a lot of worker kills here. 13, 14 now, and it looks like finally the crisis has been contained.
Yeah, it's really smart play by Spyderslayer to do that, and honestly a smart reaction by Perseus, because some players that we've seen in the past would forget about that friendly fire splash damage and would have sieged that up, and that would have probably done more damage, like you said, than the roaches themselves. But as we mentioned, Spyderslayer, he does love his Mutilis, and the Spire is about 3/4 of the way done, going to be finishing up here. Nice job with those roaches to kind of hold Perseus back a little bit, and
uh-oh, it's a race against time.
Do it. Is he gonna?
Oh, no. That's just so frustrating. So Perseus is now just locked onto one base for a little bit longer here. And in the meantime, Spyderslayer is taking his third. He's just gaining a pretty big advantage here.
Yeah, and once he gets those Mutilis out on the field, that's going to be even bigger. 10 now in production, and especially he's forced with those roaches. He's forced these tanks. He's forced the not Marine units. And the Marines don't even have combat shield yet. It's not even in production. However, Cloak is in production for Banshees, although I do not see any Banshees on the field. So it looks like this pressure from Spyderslayer has put Perseus into a little bit of disarray here. as the Mutalisks are going to fly right just barely outside the vision range of that medevac.
Yeah, and they're probably going to have to come back to deal with that somewhat. I don't see a whole lot else in Spyderslayer's base. There is.
Those are 2 tanks, too. So if he drops these and gets them sieged up, that could do quite a bit of damage. But that medevac does get back. They're just going to go ahead and shoot away at these drones. Going to get quite a bit of damage done. But in go the Mutalisks into Perseus' base. Spyderslayer not even all that worried about it. He's just going to go ahead and kill off that tech lab there on the starport and keep going after those SCVs. But now he picks up the tanks again and moves into the main base of Spyderslayer. Zergling speed is about half done. If he could snipe out that spawning pool, that would kind of be a big win for him. But these tanks doing quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, he's trying to do just a lot of economic damage here. I think he already cleaned out a lot of the drones from the natural. Now he's going to do the same in the main base. But the drones actually fighting back are able to get the surrounding, knock those out of there. So now there's just the Mutalisks that need to be dealt with in Perseus's main. The mine does go down.
Honestly, he doesn't really have much to deal with it. He does have that mine there and a handful of Marines, but in one-on-one fight, these Mutalisks would easily be able to take these Marines on. So Perseus is going to have to figure out some kind of answer, and I'm not sure that he has it. He does have 2 missile turrets at his natural expansion, but that's GG. So a little bit of, I think Spyderslayer did a really good job of just keeping him busy.
Yeah, a lot of explosive play out of Spyderslayer. You know, there was a lot of aggression, first with the 4 Zerglings, and then with a small burst of roaches that actually got a ton done.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, he was able to tech back home, get the Spire up, save up a ton of resources, and just do an explosion of Mutalisks. So Perseus was really on the back foot the entire time.
Yeah, like you said, Spyderslayer definitely his strong point and the thing that he practices a lot is the really micro-intensive harassment, very aggressive play. He's not one that sits back for sure. And we've seen that a lot, especially in his ZVT. He likes to keep the pressure on all the time and keep the Terran back in his own base, managing stuff so to prevent those drops from really doing much to him. And that was a kind of an interesting move by Perseus to do those tank drops. And he got a lot done just because Spyderslayer really invested a lot in those Mutalisks. He invested a lot in those roaches and immediately sent them across the map to try and do damage, so he didn't really have much at home to do much. But unfortunately, the numbers of mutas were too damn high, and
there were quite a few of those mutas, and there really just wasn't a whole lot that he could do about it. I mean, he had to mine out, he had a handful of Marines, but unless there was just a real bad misclick by Spyderslayer there, it was going to be a rough time.
Yeah. And we're going to get game number 2 set up here. Looks like Spyderslayer is getting ready, and Perseus has left his seat here for the moment.
I think he was adjusting some of his peripherals, so making all the way around.
Yep, so we want to take a moment here to make a shout out to our sponsor today, Mythologic. They have been pretty awesome. They've really supported a lot of the things that we have been involved with. We've known them for quite a while. Gosh, this camera is unbelievable. Come on now. Focus it. Focus there. We'll have that fixed tomorrow, I promise. So Mythologic, they've been working with us on a lot of projects we've been doing, a lot of events we've been casting and streaming and working on. And they definitely stepped up today too. A $500 base prize for this, and Mythologic has kicked in an additional $250 plus 3 Razer mice, plus t-shirts, plus mouse pads, and all kinds of cool swag. So the winner here is walking away with a big chunk of change. I think it's going to be upwards of the $400 to $500 range.
Yeah.
And we're going to be paying up through 6th place. So there's going to be a lot of people that will be able to win some cash and prizes from this tournament, especially once you consider all the other things. And if you want to tell a little bit about Mythologic and what they do.
Oh, absolutely. So Mythologic is a local to us, Ann Arbor-based company that does custom PCs and laptops. You can really customize the heck out of these things. So you should go check them out, mythologic.com. And play around with their website a little bit. And if you feel so inclined, check them out on Twitter @Mythologic and shoot them a tweet. Just say thanks for helping us pay for some esports prizing and draw out some big names like Winner, like Desro, having these people come out and play some really entertaining games for us.
Yeah, and a lot of people in tournaments say that, oh, if it wasn't so top heavy, I would come out and play and it would be worthwhile. And having the support of companies like that really helps us to do that. I mean, I know personally of several people that came out because we were able to offer prizes to the top 6 to basically at least cover expenses of entering the tournament. So that really helps out in participation, and it's been really awesome to see all the players around here. I mean, like I said, there's lots of big names. There's Desro Winter. We got to see a lot of good matches today. and there will be more, and they will be better and better as we get along, too.
Absolutely. You know, the deeper we move into the bracket, the cream rises to the top, and the games get better and better.
You do like that saying, don't you?
I really do like that saying. It's a great, great saying. But big thanks to Youmacon as well for having us out this weekend. A huge conference here in Detroit, here at the Renaissance Center and at the Kobo Center as well. Tons of really neat panels. They've got this great gaming room that is really just packed today. I mean, there's a ton of people. You can't really even get through the crowd to get anywhere out there.
It's hard enough just to get to the bathroom.
I know it. There's just people playing games all over the place, having a grand old time, chatting with each other, and talking about things that they love, you know, getting together and just sharing passion for sport or esports and for video games and for anime. Really cool to see.
Yep, so we're going to take a quick break here while the second map is getting set up. Both players are at their station, so we'll be back here in a minute or two probably, and with map number 2 of this series, so stay tuned.